It's not about how much money you make. Mm-hmm. It's about how much money you keep.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Speak Up Sis Podcast. I'm your host, Angel Charmaine, and this is the show where everyday women and men have an opportunity to share their stories in order to inspire yours. We say what you think nobody wants to hear, but everybody needs to know. Today, I've got a beautiful guest. She's a special guest, but she's not new to Speak Up Sis Podcast. Her name is Sapphire Starr. You all have heard her before on Speak Up Sis Podcast at the beginning of last year, but she's got some amazing things going on right now. And so, I had to bring her back into the space so that she can share some more of these nuggets about how to access money and time freedom. Okay, so Coach Starr, Sapphire Starr, welcome back to Speak Up Sis Podcast. How are you doing?
I am awesome. Thank you for having me back on the Speak Up Sis Podcast. I'm so excited to be here again.
I'm glad to have you, girl. I'm glad to have you. Will please tell us a little bit about who is Sapphire Starr?
Absolutely. Again, my name is Sapphire Starr, and I am a financial life coach and authoress of Live Freely, Freedom to Work Whenever, Wherever. I teach people how to organize their finances to create more freedom in their life and live the life that they deserve.
What led you to this idea of unlimited freedom, time freedom, money freedom? How did you get to that place where you even understood that was a thing?
I was stuck in the rat race. I was living paycheck to paycheck. I was struggling, really. And I got to a place in my life where I'm like, this cannot be it. This cannot be living. I didn't feel like I was living. I didn't feel like I was living the life that I deserved. So in my mind, something had to happen. I had to figure out how to take charge of my finances so I can live the life that I deserve. And that's where it started for me. It started from just struggling and living paycheck to paycheck. Even though I had a career, I had a great job, I knew how to make money. I didn't know how to manage money.
That's a big thing. You said, I knew how to make money. Yes. I just didn't know how to manage money. And I heard one of these financial gurus talking the other day. Don't ask me who. He said when he met some of the most wealthy people he's ever met, those people didn't look like they were wealthy. They didn't spend money that they were making. They allowed that money to go and make money. They don't actually spend the money until money is not even an issue.
And that's what I tell my clients all the time. It's not about how much money you make. Mm-hmm. It's about how much money you keep. And to be wealthy, it first starts in your mind. It's a mindset, right? It starts there. And once you create a mindset of wealth, then you begin to, act on that mindset as a man thinketh, right? And then you create a strategy on, okay, how can I, create more wealth in my life? And it's very simple. It's very simple. Organize your finances, live below your means, spend less, save more. These are very simple, practical principles that, I think for a lot of people, they feel like wealth is unattainable and is very difficult. And I'm here to show and share, and that's what I talk about in my new book, is that you don't have to be a multimillionaire to begin creating wealth in your life. All you need to do to live freely is to manage your time and master your money.
There are different types of wealthiness and prosperity. And I believe most people think about cash money when they think of prosperity and they think of wealth, right?
Right.
And of course, that is most definitely a major part of, of wealth when we talk about it, is having the actual money in the bank. However, depending on what your values are, you can be very wealthy and prosperous and not be a millionaire. And one thing I learned from you, and I'm going to let you talk to them about this amazing book of yours that's going to help set them free if they listening. Okay.
Absolutely.
For me, I'm not money motivated.
Right.
So I don't have to have a lot of money. I never had to be a multimillionaire or billionaire or whatever. And yet I live like I'm a wealthy woman. And it's only because I don't have a lot of debt.
Absolutely.
I don't have a lot of debt. I live a very minimalistic lifestyle. And one thing I learned is when you don't owe nobody, you can do what you want to do.
Absolutely. Whenever you want to do it too.
Exactly.
Whenever, wherever. Absolutely.
Whenever, wherever. And so you can, you can live a prosperous life filled with joy and peace. Let me say that peace of mind is something else, right? Exactly. Even though you may not have, $1 million in the bank, you can eat when you want to eat, how you want to eat, because you live a different type of lifestyle. However, you can also help them make money.
Absolutely. But to piggyback what you were saying about wealth and how you define and what wealth means to you, and ultimately it's about, having more time and having more resources available to you, that you are comfortable living the life that you want to live, and you can give freely as well. In my book, I talk about how you can live freely, but additionally how you can give freely. And it's about having time and having resources. So fundamentally, in my book, I talk about how you can create a lifestyle, right, that you want to live. Because this is a lifestyle. It's not a get rich quick type of strategy. I paid off, this journey for me, my financial freedom and location independent lifestyle began 10 years ago, right? And it took me 36 months to pay off $33,000 worth of debt. It took me another year to save $20,000. And at that point, I now became liberated to fire my boss. And for me, it was to travel the world whenever and wherever I wanted. So in my book, Live Freely, I teach people how to create residual income and make passive income work for you. And like you said, it's about how you can no longer work for your money, right? Instead of you working for your money, you can free your time and make your money work for you. Therefore, it doesn't matter where you live, what you do, you're not having to actively work for your money. And that means you have more time, you have more resources to spend with your family, start a business, write a book, whatever your desires are, you now have the time to do that and not be worried. That's the thing. A lot of people worry about money. They worry about how they're going to pay bills. They worry about how they're going to feed their family. And that's not a good quality of life. Anxiety creates high blood pressure, heart disease. It ruins relationships. Right. So, financial wellness is self-care. Like, this is not just about money. It's about being a good steward of your finances. It's about being a person that can give back to yourself, your community, your family, and not just for yourself in this moment, but how to create generational wealth. I think that's exceptionally important for our people, how to use wealth as a tool for unity and power. So we don't have to, continue to beg for a seat at the table, right? We can build our own table.
Exactly. And the chairs, bring the silverware and
all of that. The house around it, the land that the house is on. We have the power to do that, but it takes, it takes knowledge. And a lot of times we don't know things. And so it's hard to know to do things when you don't know what it is you don't know. So the first step, and I always say there's no plan due. First, learn, pick up a book, read. That doesn't take any amount of time. That doesn't take any money to pick up a book and read, or listen to a podcast like Speak Up Sis and learn something that you can then, monetize, or something that you can use to learn and then implement into your life and do something. When you know better, you do better.
Exactly. I don't think people realize that before you can be wise, you first need knowledge. Knowledge, understanding, and wisdom, they work together.
Absolutely.
Knowledge is the data. There's data everywhere. However, you can't get to an understanding of what you don't, when you don't know what you don't know, you just don't know. Then you've got people who, we've got the information everywhere. There's knowledge everywhere, but they have no understanding. Why? Because they don't want to work with a coach. They don't want a mentor. They don't want people telling them what to do.
Or invest in themselves.
They don't want to invest. They don't want to invest in themselves by investing, or investing in someone else to be able to help them understand all the information that they've gained, right? And then the wisdom is simply the application of the data that you now understand. It's a whole process. And if you try to skimp on any of them, you're going to find yourself at a loss. I want to back up a little bit. This is Speak Up Sis Podcast, one-on-one with Angel. It's a new segment in this new year where I will be having conversations with one person. They'll be about 30 minutes long. However, if it goes beyond 30, y'all know me, I'm gonna let it do what it do, especially if I know it's something that's going to help you and benefit you. Okay. All right. So let's get back into this. Before we really get into the book, I want people to understand who's talking to them, because you and I already know that there are some bitter Bettys and negative Nancys, right? Who are thinking, because they see Angel Charmaine everywhere, oh, of course she can do that because she has this or she has that, or she's got degrees or she's done these things, and oh, that one over there, she's she got money. She said she saved $20,000. She this and that and the other. So I like for people to know who they really dealing with.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So if you will, please, however much you feel like sharing, let them know who they're listening to.
Absolutely. Like you said, I'm a little brown girl from the projects of Savannah, Georgia, and we did not have much as I was growing up. I became pregnant at the age of 13. And I had my daughter at 14. And that was a life-changing, pivotal moment in my life, because now I'm responsible for another person. And I began working. I began writing for a magazine called the Freedom's Journal when I was 15 years old. I knew how to make money. I just didn't know what to do with that money. So from a very early young age, I have been working. I've been struggling, trying to take care of my responsibility. But again, I didn't really know, because you don't get in school. Most of us don't get education when it comes to personal finance. Right. You don't learn that. I didn't learn that until I was well out of college, living paycheck to paycheck, struggling with bills. And then it became, okay, something has to happen. I don't know what, but something has to happen, right? So it took that and all those things happening for me to say, you know what, I want to do better. I didn't even know where to start. I didn't even know where to begin, but it was a desire in my heart to want to have better for me and my daughter and my family. And so I picked up a book, like my book, like Live Freely. I picked up a book from the library about, okay, how do I manage my money? How do I get out of debt? I read that book, I studied that book, and I began applying. Like Angel said, it's not enough to know something, right? It's applied knowledge. It's about being committed to yourself, your values, and what you really want in life. Your words have power. So, and your mind has power. So be mindful of the things that you think and say, and make sure they're lined up, and be committed to that. Be dedicated to that, and be consistent. And I guarantee you, you will manifest a life that you dreamed of, just by taking the time and investing in yourself, investing in knowledge, and investing in resources that are available to you. Because like Angel said, we have, Google. We didn't have that. Her and I, we didn't have that growing up. We didn't have this luxury that everyone have now to say, oh, let me just Google how to get out of debt. No, that was not available to us. Like, we were out on the pavement working and doing what we have to do and figuring it out along the way. So I say all that to say that representation matters. And that's why it was important for me to share and tell my story. Because most people, when they think about, or most brown people, when they think about wealth and the stock market and all of these things, they're like, that's not made for me. Like, that's not attainable, right? There's no way that I can have that.
Let's keep it 100.
Right.
We think white people do that.
Right. But I'm here, me, a little brown girl from Savannah, Georgia projects, to dispel that myth. Because I have money invested in the stock market. I made over 6 figures in the stock market, right? That you can too have access to whatever it is you want to have access to. You have access, and you too can learn how to grow your money. You can turn your passion into profit. You can monetize your skill set. You can create multiple streams of income. You can leverage, and you talked about credit, and I do teach people how to leverage credit. Let's be honest, you need credit for everything nowadays. You need it to get an apartment. You need it to get a job. If you want to start a business, guess what? They're gonna run your credit. If you want capital, if you don't have the resources, many people start businesses with no resources, but what do they use? They use credit responsibly, right? And that's the key. You have to use it responsibly, because that's what I talk about in my book. First, you need to get out of debt. You need to create consistent, disciplined habits, right? You don't just jump out there and get credit, right? But create disciplined habits that will teach you, and you will learn how to grow your money, make your money work for you, so you can get out of this crazy cycle of the rat race. Or you can leverage your income. That's awesome too. Leverage it, but just get out of that cycle of going to work, spending all your money, getting into debt, working some more, and then wondering why you're not where you want to be in life. You can, live freely. And that just means having the power and having the wisdom to do whatever it is your heart desires, right? That's what is, and it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. For me, it was being able to travel. It was being able to be there for my daughter and my grandbaby whenever they need me to be there for them. Generational wealth, having time to volunteer, being able to give back to my community. And those are things that I want to do, and I'm able to do those whenever, wherever I want.
Right. And for me, that looks like being able to build an empire and not worry about whether or not I can pay the mortgage or my truck note or things of that nature, because I was able to eliminate those things. Now, the money that I do earn, I'm able to build a business with it. And trust everybody, I am nowhere near financially intelligent as Sapphire is, but I'll tell you that I have learned along the way as I have watched her and listened to her. She purchased me my first money book that I read. And even then I was like, I can't do this. I can't do that. But I did work the principles so that when it was time for me to say, I'm going to fire my boss and just go do it, I was able to. I was. So let's get into the book. Hold your book up. You can actually get a copy of Live Freely paperback, or you can get the ebook version. It's on Amazon. So let me say this. Sapphire Starr is like the female Dave Ramsey black girl magic.
With a splash of black girl. I love that review. I love that. I'm like, wow, okay, I'm honored. I'm honored.
Because here's the difference between, and this is from someone who's read Total Money Makeover, which is amazing.
Great book.
Okay. Dave Ramsey's book is amazing. It's a great book. His system is a great system.
Absolutely.
The difference that I saw with Live Freely is that you look like me. Your scenarios are scenarios that I understood because I look like you and I've had your similar lived experiences as a Black woman, as a mother, as a single woman, a single mother, as a single person, right? As a person of color that I could relate to. So as you spoke about your personal experiences, I was like, oh, golly, I've been there. Whereas when I read the other books, some of those experiences, I was like, I'm sure it works.
Some of them income brackets, I was like,
I couldn't relate, right? So one, you're going to be able to relate. You're going to be like, okay, I get that. It makes sense to me. The next thing was that you give full on steps.
Absolutely.
Like real, actionable, measurable, specific things that you can do to actually put all these principles to work. You didn't just write a book of principles. You give the application of the principles so that anybody could actually do this stuff. Then you give examples. So it's like, here's the principle, and here's how you do it. And then here's an example of what that will look like.
Mm-hmm.
It's so chock full.
Nuggets.
It's more than nuggets.
Right.
Some gold bars.
Right. Hey, I like that. Bars.
Bars. Okay.
Bars. I like that.
Bars.
Yeah.
And when I read it, and you already know I'm critical. I can be critical because I'm reading and I'm like, yeah. But I read it and was like, I'm gonna need to read this a couple more times. I need to do, and although there are many things that I've done, because you talk to me about these things throughout the years, there are still so many other pieces, and I was like, oh, I didn't do that part, or I didn't follow through with here, or maybe I could do this, or you know what, that's a great idea. Mm-hmm. It's amazing. So talk to the people about the book.
Absolutely, and thank you so much for that review and recap of the book. And like you said, it's a simple step-by-step guide, right, on how to create residual income. And when I say residual income, just meaning money left over after you paid all your expenses, right? You have money left over and it's like, okay, what do I do with that money, right? And then you create passive ways to make money, or passive income to make that money work for you. And it's the equivalent of,
I'm sorry to interrupt. Explain to the people what you mean by passive.
Okay. So most of us understand active income. You go to work, you get paid, right? That's active income. You clock in, you get a paycheck. Passive income is basically you do the job once, but you continue to get paid for that same job over and over and over again, even when you stop doing the work. And it doesn't mean that you don't do any work. It just means you can do the work once and you continue to make money on that one thing that you did, i.e., I wrote a book. That's the potential. That's passive income, because I wrote the book, I did the job once, I can continue to make and earn royalties on that book and never have to write another book again. So that's the example of what, passive income is. So you're not actively working for it. It's coming to you passively. So it's literally money when you sleep. When I talk about in my book about investing is another form of passive income. You invested in the stock market, you buy partial ownership of a company. And as that company make money or lose money, but as that company makes money, you make money from that particular stock that you now own that company. You're literally waking up. When I wake up and I check my portfolio, I'm literally making money and I'm not doing anything. I literally woke up and there's money in my account. I'm in the green. So those are examples of passive income. And you can create passive income. And I talk about this on my page, even if you're broke, right? Even with the resources that you have now, you have the ability, you have the power to be able to create money that then works for you based on what you already have. But it takes making sacrifices. It takes not eating out all the time. It takes not buying that new Apple iPhone when it comes out, not buying the new Jordans when they come out, creating a budget and telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went, and then figuring out a strategy. Okay, like I have this, now what do I do with it? And that's what I talk about in the book, about creating plans, creating a budget, and then creating and what to do with that money. Once you created money, you have money that's left over, right? That's what I talk about. No plan, do. And it's the equivalent to as if, you're like, I want to lose weight, right? Somebody's like, I want to lose weight, but you don't know where to begin. But you go to the gym and it's like, there's all this equipment, there's classes, there's cycling, there's all these things that are happening. And that's what's happening in the finance world, right? You got saving, investing, debt, credit, all these things are happening. You're like, I don't even know where to begin. My guide is that front desk information person. When you walk in the gym, they're like, hey, I'm here. Let me take you through all these different vehicles. Let me take you through all the different ways that you can lose weight, that you can make money. That's what my guide is. It's like I said, it's a very step-by-step informational resource, like a reference guide that you can always go back to. If you want to start one place, that, you know what, let me put a pin in that. Let me master that. And then you can always go back to it. And it's not just about personal finance, like Angel said. It's a story of hope and triumph. Because for me, what motivated me to write this book and share my stories for others that look like me, talk like me, walk like me, where I'm from, to say, you know what, even when the odds are stacked against you, you too can do it. You can do exactly what I'm doing, or whatever it is you want to do. You can do it. Like, it's very, very possible. And then that is something that, representation, and then it resonates with you. You resonate because you may see yourself in me. You may see yourself in my story, and you may say, wow, if she did it, I know that I can do it. And that's the main thing for me, is to be able to empower others to, like I said, take control of your money, because it doesn't just stop at financial freedom. That freedom spills over into all areas of your life, mind, body, and soul. Financial wellness is self-care. You're taking care of your mind when you don't have to worry about money. Taking care of your body, because now you have time to go walk 20 minutes a day, where before, like, I don't have time for that because I got to work 2 jobs or whatever. Now you have time to do that. Now you have time to meal prep or make better decisions about what you're eating and what you're adjusting in your system, and money to, afford the things that you could not have afforded before. So that's what this is all about. It's a whole mind, body, soul transformation that happens from obtaining financial freedom in your life.
Girl, I can sit here and listen all day. You already know it. We have a viewer. How you doing, Quincy? Thank you for popping in to Speak Up Sis Podcast. He says passive income takes planning and research, but it's well worth it.
Absolutely. That's a great, great statement. And that's what my book is about. I actually did most of the, the research for you, right? I did the research for you. I lived the life, and I'm giving you the tools step by step, because everybody can't digest everything, right? And sometimes you just need, like, where do I even begin? And that's where Live Freely comes into place. It's a starting point, whether you know nothing about money, or if you're over your head in debt. It's like a life raft, like just to grab onto something, to pull yourself in, a starting point for you to begin this journey, to start making little changes in your life. And like Quincy said, it is trust me, it is well worth it, because now I have changed my family tree. right? I have now made decisions that is going to impact and influence the next generation, my grandbaby, my great grandbaby, my great 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 grandbaby. I have left a legacy for them. That's what's important. We have to leave foundations and platforms for those after us to be able to stand on our shoulders and be able to do those things that we weren't able to do. No one left us any money, right? No one, even taught us about money, right?
Right.
But that's not going to be the case for the next generation. Like Angel, for you and your boys, like they're going to know what it is to start and be committed to running the business. That's invaluable. And they can teach that to their kids. Good credit. If you don't have nothing else you could pass to your kids, you can pass good credit to them. You can take that good credit and actually afford to be able to buy a home or buy land. There's so many different things that you can do with good credit, and it doesn't really require a lot of you to, create and maintain good credit. And that's what you could pass on to your kids. And I learned that from Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And that's something I learned with my daughter. I put her on my credit line when she was younger. And by the time she was of age, she had good credit to be able to have, a leg up. Because we all know that, the way the system is designed, that, is not always a fair setup for us. So we have to do everything in our power to make sure our kids are set up for success. Like everything that we can possibly do in our power to make sure they have at least an opportunity to get out there and win.
Exactly. Now let's sidebar this. Sidebar this.
Yes.
You need to have some good credit. It needs to not be a card that's maxed out and you barely making the payments. And no, don't put your churn on that. Don't start them out on the
your finances together and then children. You shouldn't even have a credit card if you can't pay your bills on time.
Right. So I just want to put that caveat in there because
absolutely.
We don't want to mess people up.
You want to have bad credit to your kids.
Exactly. If you got good credit, solid credit, great paying history, and all that good stuff, then yes, you can put your children on. Put them on as a give me the word
user.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And so by the time they're actually up and running, they're not starting off with no credit. Because we all know that as an adult, no credit and bad credit, they kind of sit right there together for certain things. To not have any credit isn't a good thing either. So you can actually start your children off by making them an authorized user on a credit card that's got great payment history and things like that. But it's those little things, and that's just a little tiny thing. But it's things like that the average person just doesn't know. Why? Because they just never been taught. No one's ever said it to them. And so they just don't know. There is a quote that you have in the book that I love because you and I both know that I'm all about time freedom. For me, it's all about time. Mm-hmm. It's all about time. I need to be able to do what I want to do, when I want to do it, and go where I want to go, when I want to go. And it's ironic you made that statement just now about the gym. Just this morning, I got up, I went and worked out. I got up late, so I got there late, but I wasn't stressed. Like, I gotta hurry up and get to work. It was like, I just didn't meet my time goal this morning, but that's okay. I got there, I worked out, I met a friend there, we worked out. She had to go to work, and I was like, okay, cool, see you later. I went and sat in my car, and I was like, I'm gonna make a little fitness video. I sat in my car for like 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Fitness video that I could post to encourage people and encourage myself. And then I looked, I was like, oh my gosh, I've been sitting in the car for 45 minutes. I guess I better go home now. And then I came home, and then it was my mom's like, well, can you do this? I was like, sure. So here, what I'm saying is I'm not having to punch anybody's clock.
Right.
And I'm not filthy rich. However, you talk about this in the book as well. I live minimally.
Yes.
So if you're not going to have a lot of money, then you're going to have to manage properly what you do have.
Absolutely. And make it work for you.
And make it work for you. And the quote says, being rich is having money. Being wealthy is having time.
Yep.
Margaret Wander Bonanno. And I said,
that is
girl. And the first time I ever fully understood time was when I went to live and work in Abu Dhabi. And I saw these women looking like Morticia, just gliding around, taking their sweet time.
Right.
No, in a rush. Inshallah, everything.
Yeah.
Whatever God wills, it will be done. But you can't rush me to do anything. And I just thought, they're not in a hurry to do anything. And so when I returned to the States, that is one thing I could never go back to. Yeah. Rushing to do anything, being forced to do anything, being made to feel pressure to, to work on somebody else's time. I knew as soon as I came back, I knew it would not be long before I didn't work for anybody, because I said, And this is something you talk about in the book.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I've been influenced, once I left and had the courage to leave Savannah, like I said, fired my boss and begin living life on my own terms. That was such a learning experience for me to see how other people live minimally. They don't even have millions of dollars, right? But they have so much wealth and abundance and joy and happiness, right? I'm just like, wow, how can I be a part of that? But if I never had the wherewithal or the motivation to say, you know what, let me try to manage my finances and get out of debt, I never would have had that experience to even learn what was available to me out here in this world and being exposed to different things. So again, that decision to become financially free, I have learned a wealth of knowledge from other people and how they live their life and how they live freely. I met so many digital nomads. Like I would see them on their computer in the morning having coffee, and then they were at the beach all day. And I'm like, how? And I would be like, well, those times where we would do our trips and we'll take our week off, and we were like, yay, we got a week, right? And I think I was in Dominica, and I was at the table with some European people, and they were like, how long are you on vacation? I'm like, a week. Yeah, I got a whole week. You see me? It was like a week. They laughed in my face. They were like, a week. Like, that's not even a thing. They don't even take time off unless it's minimally a month. And I'm like, how can you afford the time and the money to take 2 and 3 months off and just be good with that? Right. So it was those experiences that I realized. I was like, wait a minute. I've drank the Kool-Aid.
There's something more.
There's more out here. Like they're on to something. And from those moments, I was like, okay, I want more of that, because I want to be able to take vacations, or just take some time off and stay in a country for however long I want to stay and not be worried about time nor money. Right. Exactly. So that's what financial independence did for me, and creating multiple streams of income. So say, for instance, if I'm not working, right, I still have other streams of income that can take care of my bills, the little amount of bills that I do have, because there's basically 2 ways to create, wealth in your life and create residual income in your life, is to decrease expenses, increase income, one or both.
Right.
One or both. And you can become wealthy and get out of debt and live the life you deserve. It's just that simple. But again, it takes effort. It takes you doing something about it. You have to apply the knowledge that you learn. And that's what I did. And it's been just liberating. And like I said, you may not want to quit your job, and that's absolutely fine. But maybe you want to be able to take off and spend time with your family without having to worry about bills, or take a vacation without going broke, or have one situation, one emergency in your life that wipes you out financially, and you have no idea how you're going to take care of your family. Who wants to carry that burden?
Right.
Because these jobs aren't, one source of income is not going to cut it. Right? So who wants to carry that burden? That's what it's all about. Being able to have the freedom to be able to do whatever it is you want to do without having to have permission or have restrictions or restraints about it.
Right. I'm just honored to be able to share this space with you, just because I know.
The journey. Yeah.
I know the beginning, I know the middle, I know the journey where you currently are. I don't know where your future is going to be, but I know I've seen the fullness of it, and I'm honored. And I'm just going to tell you, for my listeners, I'm still learning and I'm still growing, and I haven't even reached the place I want to be. And you all know I'm always learning and always trying to soak it up. So even I am sitting here saying there's more to learn. There's more to know. There's more to do. But you've got to want it. You've got to have a desire for it. No one can give you the desire for freedom. You got to want to be free.
Yes. And you inspired me also in my book, because, and I talk about you and what you have done in your book, because what you did was very courageous. Like, you was like, you know what? Like, you were going to work, but you were so like passionate about your vision to teach women how to speak and walk in their truth. And that inspired me, because I had a story to tell too, but because of, you sometimes being transparent, you're afraid of what people are going to think of and say about you. But you inspired me with your journey that, you know what, speak your truth. Speak up, sis. Okay. Don't be afraid, because even in those moments, you can learn. When you speak your truth, you can learn from other people that then pour back into you. And you weren't afraid. I mean, I'm not going to say you weren't afraid. You were very courageous. And even though there was fear, you packed up all your stuff, turned in your resignation, didn't have a job or anything lined up. All you had was your vision. And that was enough to light the flame in you to do what you're doing. I think you've been doing it now for 2 or 3 years. Yeah. Like, that is amazing. That's the epitome of what I'm talking about in my book. Live freely, freedom to work whenever, wherever you want. And that's exactly what you did. And that's what you built a whole empire based on.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I tell you, I think anyone who has a vision for anything is passionate about that thing. I think I just had an episode where I talked about that. You don't have to know exactly what I do or how I do it. I don't have to know exactly what you do or how you do it. But because we have a passion for a vision, you can respect another person's passion.
Absolutely.
You can see it because you understand it for yourself, because you have that for yourself. So not only do you have the book, and I encourage every single individual who is listening and or watching this episode of Speak Up Sis Podcast, this one-on-one with Angel with Coach Sapphire Starr, to get the book. This is not a book that you want to feel like you got to read 80 comments before you spend. How much is the book?
The paperback is $11.99, and actually today and tomorrow the ebook I'm offering the ebook for free.
If you're watching, you have a leg up, because this has not been released on audio yet, so they may only have an hour.
Right.
But if you're watching right now, you need to get the book. The ebook version is free, but I'm going to tell you something. I can just tell you, like, trust me on this. Even if you get the free ebook, you're going to want a tangible copy because it's a reference book. Right. You're going to want to highlight. You're going to want to flip back. You're going to need sticky notes. Y'all know I do books, okay? This is a book you want to have, not because this is my cousin, because I love her, because I want to see her be successful with her book. Not even because if it was garbage, she wouldn't be on here.
Right. And I know this, and she would have told me too. Listen, she's the first person I gave my book to. I'm like, okay, what do you think? Because I know she would have told me.
Trust. If it was garbage, because not because I feel like I'm just no, it's because I love her and I don't want her out here in these streets with garbage. So right. I would have said no, take this back to the drawing board and try this again. But I'm telling you all, I own the book. The book is a quality book. It's gonna help you get free. You're going to get your money right. You're going to get your mind right. Your edge is going to start growing back because you're not going to be pulling them out because
stressed about bills. And
you know what I'm saying? So get the book. It's free on ebook for another day or two.
Yeah, Amazon.
And then when you get your coins together, see, and I'm going to let's just say this. If you stressing, can I say it?
Go ahead.
Stressing.
There you go. Stressing. Geechee.
About them $11.
You need this book.
Yeah.
Because it shouldn't be that way. It's an investment into yourself. I'm going to tell you everything that I share in this book, and I'm not exaggerating. I'm not putting on. This is not clickbait or anything. I've made thousands. If I can pull my account up, I would show you. Go to my page. I screenshot because I'm now that I'm being transparent. I'm like, I might as well go all the way out there. I've made thousands of dollars, right? From the principles that I've taught and am teaching in this book. And when I read my first money book, the same thing. I didn't check the book out because I was like, I don't have the money, right? I had that mindset, like I'm struggling. Like I can't. And I checked the book out from the library, and listen, I have bought that book 100 times over. I am now a believer, and that's what I want, and that's what's in this book. These are principles that you too can apply in your life, and it will make you wealthy, not just in money, but also in knowledge, and also how to gain your freedom and your time to do what you want to do.
And before I let you go, I do want you to talk to them about Organized Chaos, the business component where you are a financial advisor. And so even someone who gets your book and they begin to work on some things on their own. And you know what? I'm even going to say, before you even call her to say, help me, get the book.
Right.
Get the book. Let me take my glasses off. Get the book and put some elbow grease in it.
Yeah.
Like, do some thinking on your own. Read the book. See what you can implement first. When you actually get to the point where you call her, because listen, she finna be my financial advisor. I have an accountant, but I need an advisor.
Right.
Before you get to that, I would have never said, I want you to be my financial advisor if I hadn't already been working on some. You need something to bring to the table. Mm-hmm. At least come to the table with an understanding of where you are.
Right.
Ready to acknowledge that you live above your means. Mm-hmm. Ready to acknowledge that you have no passive income. ready to acknowledge that you don't know what you would do if, you lost your job tomorrow. You don't have anywhere to go. You wouldn't know. Come to the table at least at a place where you at least are ready to say, this is where I am, because then she'll be able to take you to the next level. Mm-hmm. Understand? I mean, am I wrong? Am I wrong for saying this, money lady?
No, I do believe it's important that you see the value in this yourself and not just plug into something because someone says to do. I think it's important for you to own where you are and see the value in something that can help you in your life. You have to be an active participant for yourself. You have to show up for yourself, even if that means or being honest and saying, well, you know what, I don't know. I don't even understand what's happening. Active participant in what's going on in your life. And, with Organized Chaos, I am a financial life coach. I teach people, or I would say I partner, right? Because again, this is a partnership. This is something that you are an active participant in. And I partner with people and I teach them one-on-one, individually, how to organize their money, how to do the things that I do teach in the book, because you may need a little bit more help and guidance and more one-on-one. So I do offer those services. I teach people how to budget their money, how to save and invest, because saving is a prerequisite for investing. I teach people how to invest their money, how to invest in the stock market, how to grow your savings account. These are things that I teach one-on-one and for you to organize your finances.
Your chaos.
Yeah. Organize your chaos. Absolutely. And organized chaos is basically, in the midst of chaos, right? Just with a little applied energy and effort, you can create success. And that's where Organized Chaos, the company, come into play. We're here to help you create that energy of effort and give you structure so you can create success with what you're currently working with.
I like that. You meet people where they are and then help them move along in the journey, in the process.
Absolutely.
I love it.
Your success in your finances and your freedom.
Yeah. So I just need to go ahead and I need to get on your calendar. I'm just saying.
Yeah,
I know my accountant.
Growing business credit.
My accountant is like, she just all over the place. I mean, and that's a whole other conversation we'll have another time. Business owners, it is possible to have your personal finances in order and then your business be all crazy because it's a different animal.
Yes,
it really is. And Sapphire told me about my DMB number, which I didn't even know I had already had. She was like, you need to get one. And I was like, okay, let me go get one. And when I went to get one, it was like, you have one. Right. It had already been created for me or whatever, and all these sorts of things. And so it's just important for us to become more financially and fiscally intelligent.
Yes.
Period. Hands down. As people of color, Black people specifically, it is time out for buying the new J's and the PS5. And listen, I don't care what y'all say. Angie, you don't want us to have nothing. No, I don't. I don't.
And honestly, what I tell people too, I said, you can, instead of buying those things, you can actually buy the company. Instead of buying an iPhone, you can actually own Apple. You can own Sony. You can own Nike, right? So when they continue, because when you buy that new iPhone or when you buy those new tennis shoes or that new game system, that money is gone. You're not going to make any more money from that. That's a liability, right? But if you buy ownership in the company, you continue to make money. Then you take that asset. Then you go buy the iPhone or the Nike, because now you're invested in your company that you own, right? We do it the other way around, but create asset. Don't take don't take your money that you earn and buy a liability. buy an asset and then use that money that's working for you, and then you use that money wisely into things that you want and can't afford. People are buying things that they can't afford.
Can't afford.
Right.
Can't afford. Right. Faces beat to the gods and
right.
And girl, okay. I'm gonna behave because this is not the chew up the meat, spit out the bones segment of Speak Up Sis Podcast. You all did not come here to hear my words of wisdom. You came here for a one-on-one conversation with the beautiful coach Sapphire Starr, owner of Organized Chaos LLC and new author of Live Freely.
Yes, live freely.
Live freely. Yeah. So please go get the book. And then once you've read it, check her out, give her a call, and see if she can help you organize your chaos. All right. Yeah. Do you have any last words of wisdom that you would like to share? Anything? Can you give people maybe a tip or something they could do right now, can actually go do that would help jumpstart this process?
Get a journal. Just get a journal and write down, and I call it a financial snapshot. Write down everything, all the money that you're making, right? Or all the income that you have, and then write down all your expenses, and then figure out, okay, how much money do I actually have available to do anything with, if you have anything at all. But just take a notebook and call it your money journal and write down everything. And you can even figure out what your net worth is. You can say, you know what, let me write down what I own, right? And what I owe, and subtract it. That's your net worth. Now, if you're in the red, then you know that you're definitely need to start a journey. And if you're in the green, that's awesome. Then you're like, okay, what do I do with that? That's the first step, is knowing, right? A financial snapshot, money journal, write it all down.
Excellent. I think that's a wonderful place to start. We would love to hear your feedback. Please leave us some comments. You can voice messages on Anchor. If you are listening to this, please, Sapphire, give them your contact information. How can they find you?
Yes, I can be reached at www.organize-kaos.com. All my social media tags are on there. And my book is available now on my website and is on Amazon. Again, that's Organize, ORGANIZE-KAOS.com. You can also send me an email if you have any questions. That's info@organize-chaos.com. If you have any questions.
That's what's up. Thanks again for joining me on Speak Up Sis Podcast for a one-on-one with Angel. You are the very first one-on-one with Angel guest.
Really? Oh my gosh. Yay. This has been awesome. I love
it. I learned some things that I didn't know, and I just thoroughly enjoyed having this conversation. And I thank you for saying yes to coming into the space and sharing with me, as well as the Speak Up Sis Podcast listeners. And with that, everyone, we will see you all next time on Speak Up Sis Podcast. Don't forget to open up your mouth and speak up. Bye.
Bye.